Welcome back. Today I'm going to teach you on how to use tabs in PowerApps. But I'm going to show you two different methods of utilizing the tabs. One's going to be with using a gallery and filtering that gallery by a column, which you can do as many columns as you want. But I'm just going to do one today. And the other one is going to be how to hide or show fields based on what you select in the tabs. So like a process, when you do a process map, you know, you got step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and depending on which step you're on, only those fields that are relevant to that step will show up. Okay, mine are really simple scenarios, so it's nothing complex. If you have any questions or comments, you can put it in the comments box when you're done with this video. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, I'm on my development site, and we are now going to build a Canvas app to support that thing. But first you have to have data, right? So first thing you need to do is you're going to go into your site contents and you're going to build your list. Okay, what I did is I took an out of the box issue tracker template and just turned it on, and then I only added one field to it that didn't come with it, and to me it's actually should be in there. It's called date completed. I mean, we are dealing with an issue tracker, which means we need to know when the issue is resolved, right? So that's the date it's completed. Okay, so I added that, and I put some dummy data in here just so we have some data to play with. Okay, and that's your list. All right, so let's go back to our dev site. Now we're going to go build our Power App. Okay, so you're going to hit the app launcher. You're going to click on PowerApps. It's going to open up your PowerApps home. Go to you're gonna, so I already have one pre-made. I want to show you of what it should look like when it's done, and then we'll make a new, and then I'll create a couple other screens and build it out. Okay, so this is my Power App that I'm going to show you, so I'm going to go ahead and get into that. Now when you're building your tabs and your Power Apps, you cannot pull it dynamically. Okay, the problem with it is you don't have an ID. Okay, the ID is really important. Okay, so when you build these out, you're going to have to adjust them manually if you need to. Okay, if there is a way to dynamically pull them in, I'll look into that, but getting the ID is the tricky part. Okay, this way if you make a manual table, you're using your own IDs. Okay, so I'm going to show you two different ones. Okay, you got this one here. It has a gallery with tabs on it, and depending on what tab you select, it's going to filter the status column to that particular item. So it's important that you get the right labels and put them in here. Okay, and they have to be formatted the same. Okay, and then the second one I'm going to show you is where you have an edit form, and based on the step of the process, that's going to show your thing. So for instance, okay, let's go here. Right now I got it set to default so it displays all the items. This is every item in the list. So if I play this, as you can see, it's showing all the items. Now if I only want to see the in progress ones, you click on progress, and you see the all in progress shows up here, and that's the only what shows. Or duplicate, which has none, won't fix, none, by design there's 3, new there's 4, block there should be 1, and completed there's none. Okay, and then when you're done, you can hit display all, and it'll show them all again. Okay, and then you have the form. Okay, so if I play this right now, it only shows the title, issue description, priority, date reported, attachments, and images. Okay, that's what a user will use when they put in an issue. Right now, once they put the issue in and it gets the person who assigns the work comes in here, they hit assign work, you'll notice the status box pops up, so you can select the status. Okay, and then you got a, I don't know why I did that, and then you can assign it to whoever you want to. Okay, and then once it gets assigned, it'll go to the technician. Okay, the technician will put his name in here, because he may be whoever. It may not be the person assigned to. It may be someone else. Okay, that's why it gives you the ability to select somebody else. And then once once he puts all this stuff in here and it's done, he goes to the person who closes it out. okay, and then the date completed pops up. So you can see how as we click these tabs, different columns show up, but it's all one form. It's just working off of rules off of these tabs. Okay, so let's get in here and let's start building it. Okay, so we're going to build this one first. Okay, so I created a screen that's, as you see, it's a status from scratch, and we're going to build this out. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to insert your gallery. Okay, you're going to have two galleries here, the gallery with the data and then the gallery with the tabs. So we're going to insert a, my computer don't run so slow, a blank flexible height gallery. Okay, and in here you're going to take your gallery, move it to the bottom, open it up. You need to leave some space at the top because you got a header row that's got to go in here, and then your tab row right above it. And we can adjust the sizes later if we need to. Alright, so there we got our data, and now we're going to actually insert our data, but because it's a blank gallery, there's no fields. Okay, even though the data is there, it's not, you can't display anything yet until you start putting fields in. So what we're going to do is we're going to click the pencil, and then we're going to start inserting labels. Okay, so we go, first label is usually the title field. Okay, and that's your issue field, right? So we'll just open up a little bit so you have a little more room to play with. Okay, well, maybe if my computer catches up with me. Alright, and then I'm going to insert another text label. And that will be, what's our next one? Priority. Alright. Now, if it underlines when you put the column name in, that means it's probably a drop down and it needs another value, which will be value. Okay. And then we're going to insert another one, and that's going to be status. Oh, it's right here. Nope, it's right here. So we'll put status in here. Whoa, I can't spell. Okay, fine. Okay, we got status, and that's a drop down, so we're going to hit value. Okay. Our next one is assigned to. Now this one we're going to double up a little. First, I'm going to insert a media field. I want the picture of the person being there. So I'm going to open up media and I'm going to insert an image. Okay, we're going to make it smaller so that way it fits our header row, our row of data. Okay, and then we're going to do, this is the assign to, so we go assign to dot picture. Okay, it's a people picker, right? And then we're going to insert a text label for their name. We'll put it right next to them. So we go assign to dot display name. It's a people picker, so it's going to have that information. Now you see it's a little off, but I'm not being super picky about this. Okay, and then date reported and log by. So next one is going to be text label. I'll move it over a little bit so it's easier to see. Date reported, and it's the text field already. And then the last one is going to be log by. Okay, so we bring it over here. Log by. Now it's a complex field, so we're going to need the value field or the display name. It's a people picker. Now it's blank, so it's hard to see. Alright, so now we can do a little shuffling here. So we're going to make this one a little longer. Move him down to the end. We're going to move him right there. These are together, so let's grab them both. New. That looks high for some reason. There we go. And you go down here. Now I'm going to bring it over, drop it down. Now, we want to make the height of this row. See how it's a big gap here? I want to make this the height of this field right here. Okay, so we select the whole row. We're going to go down to template size, and we're going to make it whatever this value is. Okay, so it's label 1. Okay, so we'll go back here. Normally you're going to rename them, but I want to make this quick as possible. I don't want to do this forever. So as you can see, what it did is it collapsed everything in, right? So everything looks right now. Now I'm going to put in my header row, okay? And it's simply going to be a bunch of text labels. So we'll go insert, text label. Now you set the first one up and just copy it, okay? I know I dragged in an individual one for each time, but it's faster if you just copy and paste it. Okay, so put it inside the thing. I didn't want to do that. So come out here, paste it. There we go. Now it's outside. Okay, so we'll put it right above here. Okay. We're gonna make this. This one is issue. We'll make this like 16, make it bold. We're going to center it, make the background color black, and the color white. Okay. The reason I'm making it black is because I'm making the tabs blue, and I want you to be able to see the difference. Okay. So we go copy paste. We're going to start him right there. Paste. And don't worry, we're going to fix these when the time comes. Paste. We just got to resize them a little bit. Moved on me at the last second. Alright, so we're going to lengthen this one out to the next one. We're going to lengthen this one out to this one. See, I don't know how big they are, and I like starting them small, so I just do it this way, it'll be easier. Okay, so this one is priority, so we go Priority. This one is status. Maybe. My computer's stalling again like it likes to do. Come on. Yeah, it's stalled. I'll just stand by for a second until it catches up. It's stalling, but okay. There we go. And then this one is, oh my god, come on, stop doing this. Come on. that's assigned to. This one is date reported. And this one is logged in by. Okay. Now you notice the date reported is kind of scrunched, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make them all the same size. So we're going to select them all. And we're going to raise it up so the date reported works. Okay, and there's our header row. Now I'm trying to figure out why there's an on select. Oh, I know why. Because I was inside the gallery when it did that, and I didn't want that to happen. So let's see here. Okay, let's do a text label here. Yeah, that's better. Alright, so I'm going to redo all these real quick. Stand by for a second. Let me get rid of all these. Alright, so we're going to grab this. There. 16. Come on. Bold. Center. Back. White. Issue. Okay. Copy paste. I'm going to do this again. Alright. Paste. 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 And paste. Alright. So let's lengthen these up. So they're all touching. Okay. Now, we'll go ahead and rename them. This one's priority. Hopefully it doesn't take as long as it did the last time. Status. Sign to. And log and by. And then, like we did earlier, we're going to make it a little bigger so the date reported doesn't look crappy. Alright, and there's our header row. Okay, now far as this goes, we're done for right now. We do have to modify the items property in here after we get the tabs done. We have to create a few things in the tabs before we can actually put the command together. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to insert a horizontal gallery that's going to go across the screen. Okay, so we're going to go here, go to our layout, and we're going to go to blank horizontal gallery. I don't use the pre-populated ones unless there's a specific reason I need to, because you have to remove stuff and everything. This is just easier. Alright, so we're going to resize our gallery. Okay, now you're not going to need all this room. Come on, move over. You're going over to the edge. It's being stupid. Okay, there we go. Now that's the whole gallery, and then when you click the pencil, you'll notice it's just the top row is actually the far left row. Okay, so we select the whole row. Now we are not going to use the issue tracker as our data source. We're going to use a manual table that we're going to create. Okay, and I actually pulled in all the names of all the statuses, so that way I don't have to keep going back to the list. And up in the items, we're going to use table. And then since we're dealing with records, we're going to need the curly braces. Now there's two elements that are going to be in each record. It's going to have an ID and a label. Okay, so we're going to go ID colon 1 comma label colon, and the first one is going to be blocked. Okay, so we're going to go blocked, and then we're going to close it out. Now I like to do this with mine. I like to have my stuff in a vertical format so it's easy to read for me. So what I do is I put after each individual thing, when I hit the separator for the next record, I just go down to the next one. So we go, ID 2 comma label, and the next one's going to be in progress. Now whatever order you put this stuff in here, it's going to show up in the tabs. Okay, now just to make this thing easier for myself, I'm going to copy the first two items. I'm going to go paste, paste. Okay, and then whoops, I need a 7th item, so I'll paste one more. And then I'm going to get rid of everything to here, get rid of that comma, and then I'm going to close out my command with the parentheses. Okay, now remember, you need to make each one of these IDs different or it's not, the tabs ain't going to work right. So I'm going to go in here, this thing's being dumb. Alright, 4 5 6 7. There's 7 different statuses. Okay, this block's going to be, say it's going to be completed, and then duplicate, by design. Come on, computer, catch up. Oh, not that much. And then we'll fix. And then last one is new. Oops. Now capitalization does make a difference, so make sure whatever's on the list is in here. Alright, so there's my table, and I have no errors, so we're good to go. Okay. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to click the pencil, and you're going to add your quote-unquote tab, which is essentially a button that we're going to configure to look and make it look like a tab. Okay, so you're going to go insert button, and then just move it to where you want it. I always put it in the upper left hand corner. You're going to hit the drop down, and you're going to find the radius properties. Okay, there should be 4. Now if all four of these entries are going to be the same, you can go over to the right here, go to border radius, and you can set it here, but they're not all going to be the same, so we're going to do them one at a time. So the bottom left, the bottom ones are all going to be 0. Okay, and you'll see why here in a minute. Okay, bottom right, 0. Now the upper ones are going to be set to 20 because we want a rounded edge on the top part. Okay, and then when we're done, you'll see why it looks like a tab. Now if you look at these other ones over here, I know they're hard to see here because it's got the dots in the corners, but you see how it's got the rounded edges here, and then it's a squared off bottom. They look just like tabs now. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this in and get the tabs almost touch each other, so it looks more like it's supposed to. Okay, now you notice they all say button. Okay, what we're going to do is that label property we put in that table, we're going to set the labeled property as what's in each tab. Okay, so you're going to select the button, you're going to go down to text, and you're going to reset this to this item dot whatever catches up to me label. And when it's done, see what it does? Each ID has its own label. Okay, and now they're all up there. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to set the onSelect command. So okay, the onSelect is what determines which one you want to use, right? So we'll go up to onSelect. We're going to set a variable to set that we're going to use to identify which ID is currently selected. Okay, so you're going to type set, and then any label will work in here. So I use var tab select, but since I use that in my demo, I'm going to put 1 there, and then in my next exercise I'll make it a 2. Okay, and then we're going to go comma this item dot ID. Okay, and then we're going to close it out. Now when we select these things, so if you look, when you select these things, you can't really tell what's being selected, can you? Because the color doesn't change, nothing sticks, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to use the fill property, so when something gets selected, it'll change color. So we'll go up to the fill property. Now there's a color already there, so we want the blue to stay if it's not selected, so we're going to leave that alone. We're going to go to the beginning, and we're going to go put a couple spaces, maybe, if var tab select 1 equals this item dot ID, comma, and then I'm going to use purple for some reason it doesn't want to capitalize it, and then if it isn't selected, it'll be blue. Okay, and that's what this color is. So if you actually highlight this last part here, as you can see, it makes the blue color. So now as you see, block is selected and the rest of these are blue because they're not selected. So if I actually go through here and select a different one, as you can see, whichever one I select turns purple. Okay, so that part's done. Now the last step is to tell the Power App, hey, whatever one I select, I want it filtered off of that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the items property of the gallery, the first gallery, the data gallery if you want to call it that. We're going to put a statement in here to filter it. Okay, so we'll go filter, issue tracker, status equals, and then we got to know what gallery this is, right? This is, so the higher one it is, that's the less one to put in. So it's going gallery 5 dot selected dot label. Okay, because we want to filter by the label. And then close it out. Now oh, I forgot. Since status is a drop down and it's not text, you have to put the value behind there. Okay? So now, because blocked is selected, and there's only one item in here that's blocked, that's why it only shows up. So if we page through these, as you can see, they're all different. But now once you select one of these, how do you get all the items back? You can't, can you? So we need to add one more tab at the end that's going to do that. Okay, so we're going to go back up into this gallery up here. We're going to open our table back up, and we're going to add one more option in here. Okay, so we're going to go, whoops, ID 8, label, display all. Okay, now it added another tab, and luckily I made there's just the right distance apart where it fits. Okay, so right now display all does nothing, right, other than what we told it to do up to this point. Now we got to integrate it into this. Okay, because if I hit display all, all it's going to do is nothing, right? There is no display all label in there. But what we're going to do is have the items property of the data gallery is, I'm going to tell it to display all the items if it says display all in that label. Otherwise, then do the rest. So that sounds confusing, but I'll show you how it works. Okay, so we'll go back to the beginning. We're going to go if var tab select. Wow, I can't type today. Here, let's just do this. 1 equals 8. Then we're going to do the issue tracker by itself. Okay, comma. See, my filter statement got ripped out of there because I didn't do it right. So filter here, and then we're going to have to close out the statement at the end. Okay, so now since display all is selected, all my items showed up, right? Now let's go through if this really works. So if I selected, oh my god, this one's being dumb. Come on, catch up with me. Alright, so if I select in progress, it's showing the 2 or 3 of them, right? Now, I want to display all. Since that's the first thing it checks is that ID right here, that's why it works. Because as you navigate across, whichever statement qualifies, that's what it does, and then it does nothing else. It can't do both, because this it says, here's your if statement, here is your qualification statement, right? Here's what it does if it's true, and here's what it does if it's false. So it can't do both. It can only do one or the other. And that's why this works. Now we're going to do a little touch up, and we're going to be done with this. Okay, since this is way above the thing, I want to bring it down. Okay, and if you really want to get it special, you can go here and change your background to like light green or something, you know, make it look pretty. But there you go. Remember demo 1 I showed you, we were going to do a filter a gallery based off of status using the tabs, and that's what we did. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. Okay, so we're going to minimize this. Now we're going to build this. Okay, we're going to have an edit form, and we're going to go through a process map. Okay, now the process map one is a little easier. It's not as time consuming. So let's get started. First thing you're going to do is you're going to enter an edit form. Okay, so you're going to enter input, come down to edit form, and we're going to put it in here. You insert it just like you do a gallery. Okay, and since you're using a form, it's already got labels in there for everything, so you don't have to put a header row in there. Okay, we're going to connect this to our list. It's going to pull in all the columns that it thinks you need to use. It's basically the ones that didn't get on. It's all the ones that could possibly have data in them, because there's more columns than this, but this is the ones that we're going to use. Okay, first thing you do is you want to clean up this form. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is, I know the images and attachments are going to be together, so I'm going to grab this one and move it down. And then on the form itself, I'm going to set this to 12, and I'm going to turn the snap to columns off. Okay, it just makes it look better. Alright, so what I do is I bring my title over here to this point. I'm going to move my status next to this. And then my issue description, I'm going to make it just as long as the title. Leave priority there. And then I'm putting all the user stuff up first. Okay. Now this one, I'm not going to use it all, so I'm going to delete it. Date completed. Okay, so the rest of these are okay. Alright. Now if I wanted to, I could actually probably move this here. And that way the attachments and the images are the only ones on the bottom. Okay, so that's my form. Okay. Now, remember, every field isn't going to be visible all the time when we're done with this, okay? So now we're going to create our thing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this gallery we had from before. I'm just going to copy and paste it in just to save time. Okay? So I'm going to grab this gallery and I'm going to copy it. I'm not going to reproduce everything I just did step by step. There's no reason to do that. I'll have to change some things, but that's okay. Alright, so obviously we're not going to have this many tabs. Okay, so we're going to come in here and we're going to change some stuff out. Alright, so this all the way to the end I am not needing anymore. I'm only going to have 4 tabs. Okay, first one is going to be add item. Okay. And then the second one is going to be assigned. Third one is going to be technician. And the fourth one is going to be closeout. Okay. And then we're going to go down to the buttons here. And I'm going to make the buttons a little bigger. So let's go to this. I'm going to open it up a little. No. Hold on. We're going to open this up. I'm going to make the buttons a little bigger. Okay. Now, if I select these, it'll still work. But remember, it's using a variable from my other gallery, so we need to change that. So let's select the button. On select, we're going to change this to 4. Okay? And then we're going to have to go to the fill property, because it doesn't dynamically change everything. Okay? 4. Alright. And that should be all I need to do. Okay? But everything else works the same. Okay. Now we got to decide on what we're going to keep in the form visible and what not. All we're doing is messing with the visible property. Okay. So title will be in all 4, so you don't have to mess with that. Now status should be visible for the last 3 tabs, but not for the first one, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here. We're going to go to visible. Now you can see it says true. That means it's visible all the time. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to put on our variable var tab select 4 equals 2, and then we're going to put a pipe symbol. Oops. Okay, that means or. So I'm going to copy this down, paste it in here, and say equals 3 pipe, and then go 4. Okay, you'll notice that when you select the first tab, it doesn't show up, but if you select the second, the third, and the fourth, it's there, and then it's not. Okay. And then all you got to do that with the rest of these. Okay, you just decide when you want to see it. So priority should be there all the time. Assigned to should only be visible for this tab, right? And this tab and this tab. So you could literally go to the status tab, the status field. I know it's invisible right now, but you can go in here, copy this. Most of these are going to be like this. Okay, so assigned to, go to visible. Paste, date reported. That should be the user, so that'll stay there. Issue log by. Okay. Now this one should only be these 2, right? So you go to visible. We'll paste it in there, but we'll take out the 2. So it's just 3 and 4. Okay, and then date completed, that is going to be just 4. Okay, so we'll just take out 2 and 3, so only 4 remains. Then these two will be there all the time. Okay, so now if you look, add item has what the user needs. Assigned is for the assigned person, so you assign to, and then technician will be here, and then closeout will be there. And I've showed you both of the demonstration I showed you earlier. I showed you how to set up both of them. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them in the comments below, and I hope you have a wonderful day.